I want to talk today about the desire that you might have to hire a CTO and possibly too soon. So let's talk about your company. If you're a solopreneur or you're an entrepreneur founder who has scratched together a company, scratched together an MVP, you're starting to develop product market fit and revenues, and you're outsourcing to a dev team, and you start thinking, well, I don't always understand the technology now, so I would like to bring in a technical co-founder or a CTO. You might want to hold on a little longer before you do that. So I've drawn this little diagram for you to help you decide and look at where you are in this process. So if you've built your company with cloud tools, you've Zapiered the crap out of this, you've convinced customers to purchase your solution, that is a wonderful thing. And you might want to jump straight up to hiring your CTO because you feel like, well, I want a CTO who can be my technical counterpart, can run with things, and instead of paying them a full salary, I'm going to offer them equity. I Very few CTOs are excited by that, but it could work, and you can also win the lottery. But I would recommend that you kind of go back to where you started and potentially suggest a different way, which I'm going to zigzag through what I think is the way to do this. So, if you've got some product market fit and you've got some revenues, let's assume that you've started adding some more revenues to your company. And so what I might recommend is, instead of saying I now need to bring in the sort of top heavy CTO type, why don't you consider a technical advisor who can look at your existing process? And it's usually someone who's happily employed or is happily running their own thing, but is intrigued either by getting involved with a startup or intrigued by your vision. So bring them on as a technical advisor. At this stage, you should probably be bringing on many advisors, but make one of those people a technical advisor, and resist the urge to take off the product lead hat or the role that you've been playing or your team has been playing to just get your product built. A lot of times, if you are an early stage startup, you have a pretty solid idea of what you want the product to solve, and you're also pretty close to your customer. So don't let go of any of that. You don't need to build a layer of technical leadership between you and what you're building, but rather bring in that voice, that mentorship voice or that advisory voice to help sanity check some of your decisions, help audit maybe what your dev shop is telling you. I know sometimes you feel like your problems are getting harder and harder to solve, and you need the CTO, or maybe you just need a technical advisor. So I would say that that's the second progression. I would say the third progression, if I look at this, is to then start looking at the world where you might be losing some product market fit because you're making some wrong decisions. It's taking a longer time to get stuff built. So now maybe start looking at product leadership. So you want to then increase your revenues, and potentially start building out your fit. So you may have to make some course corrections. You may have to let go of certain features. You may actually have to get a little more ruthless about which features you're going to choose to build and which you're not going to build. I've seen CTOs or technical people tempted to just build everything for everybody. And a product leadership is going to play a strong voice to you as the founder of what needs to be built or what should not be built. And again, you can have that product leadership help guide what your existing dev resources, be it outsourcing or a single person, is doing for you. So that provides that leadership. And that brings us into the fourth quadrant, the joyful place where you have product market fit and you have the cashes as rollings as ends. You then want to start looking at a couple concepts, and that is that you need to start building a team. You may also have some intellectual property that you want to start securing and bringing in-house. You need to start thinking about sustainability. You may also be in a situation where your dev shop's quotes are getting more and more bloated because they're having turnover, they need to secure billable hours. So that option starts getting more expensive. So now you're wanting to start securing your in-house team. You need to have a solid budget for that. At the risk of mentioning numbers, I would say 50K, 30 to 50K MRR is when you're starting to think about bringing in that team, assuming you're not taking a salary yet, and helping people secure some resources in-house. You want some tech leadership, you may need to start looking into the future. A CTO can help you with that. And also your priorities have changed. So you've started thinking through, you need to start raising money, or you need to start, with biz dev efforts, you start building your sales organization. And that's where more and more and more you want to replace yourself with a CTO. So to recap, looking at starting by yourself with existing tools, then moving to a technical advisor who can help you with those tools and maybe stretch it out a little bit. For that advisor, you're not necessarily paying them for a job. They are gainfully employed somewhere else. They just want to help you. Thirdly, the third quadrant, you may have to shrink a little bit on the fit and start investing money in product leadership, so that you can fill in the gaps of what your customers are asking for versus what you are willing to build. And then in that fourth quadrant, when you have a rich market fit, you have some cashes, comings, ins, you start getting your CTO. So I hope that helps. Feel free to comment or to just contact me, and I'll help you apply this incredible zigzag framework to your situation. So thanks for watching.